What's up, YouTube? Today what we're going to be doing is working on the Blitz Krieg Doodlebug project. I've got my girlfriend helping me today. And she's actually doing most of the work herself, which is pretty cool. So here's the Doodlebug. We took the engine out and we tore the engine apart. It's over there on the table. The ARC billet rod that we're putting on it has 12-point bolt heads for some reason. I don't know why and who uses 12 points anymore. I don't get it, but I didn't have a 12-point socket with me, so we had to go buy a whole set from the local hardware store. That was kind of a fiasco, plus it was like $20 for a whole set, which I only need one socket. So the billet rod install is getting expensive. So if you're doing this, make sure that you have a 12-point quarter-inch socket, and quarter-inch drive is preferable as well. So let's show you what we're doing with the engine. So here's what's going on. We got the crankshaft pulled, we have the engine completely stripped, we have the new ARC rod installed on the piston. My girlfriend did that. We have the instructions from the ARC rod that we're following to a T. We do not have plastic gauge though, so that's the only part we're not following, but I have all kinds of crazy measuring devices. And our gap between the rod and the rod bearings is in fact about 0.02 of an inch to the best that I can measure. So I think we're fine there. We pulled off the head just for ease of install, hopefully. We might actually get to shave the head down a little bit. We'll see how the night goes. And here's the old carburetor, which is going away. We have a Mikuni 22mm for it. So that's kind of exciting. And we also have chrome moly push rods and heavier valve springs, so we'll be putting those in as well. And that's where we're at with it right now. We'll check back with you in a little while. So we got the billet rod installed. It's not torqued yet. We're going to put the cam in and we're going to make sure that everything clears. There's no clearance issues. This is a non-Hemi Predator engine, so I don't think we'll have to clearance the crank. Hopefully not. According to Redbeard and a few other sources out there, you don't have to clearance the crank on a non-Hemi Predator. My lovely helper over here is going to install the cam. We put the lifters in over here and everything's oiled up. As I was telling her, there's a dot on the camshaft right here, and that dot coincides with the dot on the crankshaft over there. And they are helical gears, so you kind of have to work them together. This is a Mod 2 dyno cam from Go Power Sports. And just like that, she got it installed. Now that we have that in, we can turn it around and check for clearancing issues, so we're going to do that. So we checked the clearance on the new camshaft and the connecting rod and everything like that. It seems like we're okay. I didn't see any areas that were like super close. The actual rod itself and the cylinder bore are really close clearance, but it's probably close to a 1/16 of an inch, which is huge when you're talking about clearancing stuff. So we're going to be fine. So we picked up this torque wrench from our local Harbor Freight. I had the hardest time finding this 12-point socket. Eventually found it at Lowe's, and it came in a set of standard sockets. But this combo works really well. This torque wrench doesn't necessarily snap when it clicks out. It just kind of moves. It's really weird. You'll kind of probably see it in the video here, but if you're expecting a hard click on this, you're not going to get it. So you're probably going to snap bolts. But other than that, I'm really impressed with this torque wrench so far. According to the instructions, we're going to start out at 60 inch-pounds, and then we go up in increments of 20 inch-pounds at a time until our target of 150 if you're using moly lube and 170 if you're using oil like us. So we're going to aim for 170, but we're going to do 160 and then do a final torque of 10 inch-pounds on each bolt. So right there, that's 60 inch-pounds. Right there, that's 60 inch-pounds. We're going to go to 80. There it is. I don't know if you guys can see it clicking out here, but right there. That's the click out on it. The higher up you get, the more it actually kind of makes a clicking noise. So we're at 120. Whoops. We'll just mark everything up in there. Here's 140 inch-pounds. 145, 150, 155, 160. So that's 160 inch-pounds. We're going to go to 170. It says here, improperly torquing rod bolts is one of the most common causes of failure. So we want to make sure that we do this right. Obviously, a more accurate torque wrench would probably be a better choice, but I'm not going to go out and buy a $300 torque wrench for a Predator 212. Sorry. Also, it says here it is better to be slightly over torque specs than below them that they have listed here. So if we're 180 inch-pounds, whatever. I mean, it's probably fine. And then they say to also periodically check them, which is definitely not going to happen. Here's our final torque, 170 inch-pounds. Honestly, I think if we had a 3/8 drive, I don't think it would fit in there. We might be able to push the rod forward a bit more in the case to get better clearance if you're using a 3/8 drive torque wrench. But for the most part, I would definitely recommend a 1/4 inch drive torque wrench. You want to make sure that those are lined up, otherwise your cam timing will be off. In any case, we're going to see what we can do with the head. Maybe we can port it out a little bit real fast, and then we're going to go from there and try and get this engine put back together. We can at least put the side cover back on it and do a few other things and lap the flywheel on. So we're going to do that. But we did some measuring as far as weight on the stock flywheel. It weighs 5.5 pounds, and it also has an incredibly strong magnet on it, so make sure that you don't hold your phone or credit cards by it. The ARC billet flywheel with the short fins that we're going to be putting on this is only 3.5 pounds. That's the weight that we got on the two. So we shaved 2 pounds off of the crankshaft rotational mass by going with the ARC billet flywheel. And apparently it's picking up all kinds of metal shavings that are around the shop here. That's probably not good. This flywheel has a 32-degree timing advance built into it. You're supposed to set the coil gap to 30 thousandths on this guy. That's what it says on the piece of paper that this came with. So we got the billet flywheel installed. We got this from Go Power Sports as well. I mean, I paid for it, but I'm giving them a shout out because I think they're a good company. So the next step is going to be putting our coil on and setting the clearance to 30 thousandths of an inch. We also have 22-pound valve springs, and we also have chromoly NR Racing push rods. So we're going to be putting those in soon as well. We're going to take a look and see if we can in fact mill the head down a little bit to bump compression, and if we can't, we're just going to be putting this back together just to see how it runs.